All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to everybody that's on and off the chat. Good morning. Sisters and brothers, we are on Matthew's chapter 24. And remember, you're not going to understand Matthew's 24 unless you understand Matthew's 23. The Lord has made it very clear the leadership had went off. The leaders was messed up. The people was messed up. So it was time to bring an end to the kingdom of Judah. And that's what you're reading here in Matthew's 24. But if you go to your average preacher, they'll tell you Matthew's 24 is all about the end times. And when you see the Pope stand in Jerusalem, you better flee to that place of safety where they can agree on. All of them got a different interpretation of where the place of safety is. And sisters and brothers, there is no place of safety. There's only one place of safety, and that's in the arms or under the shadow of our Father and the Son. And, like I say, some people going to believe this rapture doctrine all the way to the end. Some going to believe the wilderness doctrine all the way to the end. And ain't nothing you can do for them, sisters and brothers. Let them go on out there in the desert and get themselves hurt. But Jesus made it very clear throughout the book that I will come and get you. I will come. I don't need you to help me out. I don't need you to run nowhere. I will come and get you. This is very clear, sister and brother. And I know, I didn't just get this understanding. I've been had this understanding, but the way I saw it was, it didn't matter whether you talked about history or whether you talked about the end of all things. So I kind of just went with the flow. But now I understand that we must teach it the way it's supposed to be taught. You can't just say, okay, you can teach it history, you can teach it future, however you want to. No, we got to teach it for what it is. And it is history, sister and brother. The kingdom of Israel was done away with. God scattered them, tore down the kingdom of Israel, and now he's about to do the same to Judah. Okay? And when you go to Daniel chapter 9, the Lord makes it very clear to Daniel. Listen, I want you to listen, and I want you to understand, Daniel. There's going to be 70 weeks of years, 490 years. It's going to start with this, Daniel, and it's going to end with the destruction of the kingdom of Judah. 490 years. That's what he told Daniel. Now, some preachers will tell you that, we still waiting on Jesus to come back, and we got another 3.5 years. We're going to meet with him in the desert, and then that's going to be the end of the 70 weeks. Sisters and brothers, that's not true. He told Daniel 490 years. God didn't stop the clock. 490 years, and then that is determined shall be done. And that means the destruction of the kingdom of Judah. And I know I'm throwing a lot at y'all at one time, but it's up to you guys to go do your due diligence. This Matthew's 24, sisters and brothers, is a prophecy. Can somebody put prophecy in the chat? This is not about you in 2024. This is a prophecy. All the prophets prophesied about it, including Moses. Thank you. This is a prophecy that is about to come to pass. Jesus read, he opened the book and he read. And he say, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me to anoint me to do all of these things. But then when he came to the vengeance, he didn't read that, sister and brother. Matthew 24 is the vengeance. Now, most people tell you the vengeance is for the other nations. No. The vengeance is God's vengeance about to be poured on Judah and cause them to cease from being a kingdom. So we've been mistaught, sisters and brothers, and this is a big subject. Just like the Gentile subject, this is a big subject. Now, I can't read all of it to you, but I'm going to just point out some places where you're supposed to go to understand this prophecy. You go to Deuteronomy 4, and we're going to read a couple of verses out of Deuteronomy 4. You go to Deuteronomy 28. You go to Leviticus 26. You can go to Isaiah 27. You can go to Daniel chapter 9. There's so many places you can go that speaks of this prophecy coming to pass. Okay? But let us start in Matthew chapter 24. I will take you to a couple places so that you understand that this Matthew 24 is prophecy fulfilled. Okay? Now, let's read Matthew 24 in verse 1. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples, underline that, and his disciples came to him to show him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. Now, if what Jesus is saying is true, and it is, how is the Pope going to stand in the temple of God and claim to be God? Anyway, food for thought, sister and brother. Verse 3, and he sat upon the Mount of Olives, and his disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? But not the end of the world as we know it, sister and brother. The end of the world. What do we mean, the end of the world? The end of the world for who? Put it in the chat, sister and brother, because they'll tell you that's the end of the world as we know it. Thank you, Sister Judy. The end of the world, or the end of the age, the end of the kingdom of Judah. That's it. They're done. And he also talked about the coming of Christ. Why did he speak on the coming of Christ? Because Christ got to return and gather the children, sisters and brothers. He's got to return and undo what he has done. But this is not talking about the end of the world as you know it, but no, the end of the kingdom of Judah. Now, his disciples came to him and asked questions. Now, we want to make sure we know who these disciples are, so you don't think it's talking about your pastor in 2024. Let's go to Mark 13. We're going to identify these disciples. Let's go to Mark 13. And another way they get you, sisters and brothers, they'll tell you, see Luke 21? Let me not talk like that because people get mad. Luke 21 and Matthew 24, that's talking about something totally different. One is talking about the destruction of the temple in Luke, but in Matthew, Matthew is telling us about everything. That's a lie, sister and brother. They all talking about the same thing. Matthew, Mark, and Luke. They're all talking about the same event. This is a prophecy, sister and brother. Now, if y'all want to run anyway to the wilderness, do what I told y'all to do. Make sure y'all leave all y'all stuff to me. I want the car. I want the furniture, the house. What else y'all got? Some jewelry. Make sure y'all leave the jewelry on the bed because I ain't finna be hunting around. And all the little money y'all got stashed everywhere, put it on the bed. I ain't got time to be looking all around for jewelry and stuff. All right, let's go to Matthew. Don't have me hunting everywhere. Put the stuff out there where I could get to it. You ain't going to need it anyway. You're going to be in the wilderness eating grapes. All right, let's go to Mark 13. Now, let's see who this is he's talking to because y'all going to say it's y'all pastor. No. We're going to read verses 1 through 4. Okay, 1 through 4. And as he went out of the temple, this is Mark 13, 1 through 4. And as he went out of the temple, one of the disciples saith unto him, Master, see what manner of stones and what buildings are here. So we're dealing with the same subject. Verse 2. And Jesus answered and said unto them, Seest thou these great buildings? There shall not be one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. Verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives over against the temple, Peter is telling you who these disciples are that came to him. Peter, James, and John, and Andrew asked him privately. Now watch this. Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign when all these things shall be fulfilled? Question. We want to know when all these things going to be fulfilled. All of this stuff you're reading in Matthew 24, Luke 21, Mark 13. When is it going to be fulfilled? And sisters and brothers, he tell them. He tell them when it's going to be fulfilled. Okay? And I know that they don't deceive you. I understand. But it's up to you to do your due diligence. It's up to you to study. Now, all of these, what you're reading in Matthew 24, again, is a prophecy, sisters and brothers, that must be fulfilled. Okay? Now, we're going to go look at one of these prophecies so that when we start reading, y'all understand what y'all hearing. Let's go to Deuteronomy 4. Moses is the first one that prophesied the end of the kingdom of Judah. Moses was looking beyond the kingdom of Israel. He knew they was going to be destroyed early. So his prophecy is about the kingdom of Judah. Isaiah saw the same thing, that the kingdom of Israel will be destroyed. And matter of fact, Isaiah tell you that in Isaiah chapter 7, if I'm not mistaken. But they are prophesying about the last kingdom standing, which is the kingdom of Judah. Now let's see Moses prophesy what's going to happen to Judah in the last days. And it's up to you to do your due diligence, sister and brother. I'm reading a few verses, but you got to read the whole chapter. The whole book. Let's go to Deuteronomy 4 and verse 25. We're going to read verse 25 and we're going to read verse 30. Moses prophesying. Now you go to Deuteronomy, I think it's 15 or Deuteronomy 18. He tell you that that prophet like unto him is coming. And then in Deuteronomy 28, he gives the prophecy again about the destruction of the kingdom of Judah after that prophet like unto him come, which is Jesus. Okay. So let's understand this, sisters and brothers. Verse Deuteronomy 4 and 25. Now listen to the words of Moses. When thou shalt beget children and children's children, and you shall have remained long in the land, all the way, you're going to be in the land all the way until that prophet like unto Moses show up. And then what's going to happen? Y'all going to reject him. Y'all going to crucify him. And then God going to pass sentence on y'all. So he's telling them, when thou hast begot children and children's children, you shall have remained long in the land and shall corrupt yourselves. Isn't that what Jesus was getting on the Pharisees about? They done corrupted themselves. And make a graven image or a likeness of anything, and shall do evil in the sight of thy God to provoke him to anger. Okay. Now you got to read all this, sister and brother. I'm not going to read it all for you. You got to do your homework. Let's skip down to verse 30 and let's show what's going to happen to Judah after they done stayed long in the land and they corrupt themselves. Verse 30. And when thou art in tribulation. Now we're going to read Matthew 24 and Jesus going to tell you about tribulation. Same thing Moses said. Moses say y'all going to find yourself in tribulation and all these things shall come upon thee. Didn't Jesus say all things going to be fulfilled? Didn't the disciples ask him, when is all things going to be fulfilled? That's what Moses is saying here. And all these things are come upon you. All these things going to be fulfilled. Even in the latter days. Sisters and brothers, when did Jesus come? Moses says it's going to happen to you even in the latter days. When did Jesus come, sisters and brothers? Did Jesus come in the latter days? That's right. Let's go to Hebrews and read it, verse 1. So y'all understand that the latter days Moses talking about, same latter days when Christ was here. This is when all this going to happen to the kingdom of Judah. Let's go to Hebrews. Hebrews chapter 1, verse 2. And hath in these last days spoken to us by his Son. What is last days? Latter days. Whom he hath appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the worlds. Okay, let's go back to Moses. Now, I can even go find latter days for you, but I ain't going to go do that. Y'all do y'all due diligence. It's in there. Last days, latter days, same thing. We talking about the end of the old covenant, which is going to happen at the destruction of the kingdom of Judah. That's going to end the old covenant. The end of Judah is the end of the old covenant. Paul will tell you that in Hebrews chapter 8, in the last two verses. Okay, let's read verse 30 again. When thou art in tribulation, or as Jesus gonna call it, great tribulation, when thou art in tribulation, and all these things are come upon thee, even in the latter days, if thou shalt turn to the Lord thy God, and shall be obedient unto his voice. That's right, new covenant, yes. And was the Lord thy God here in the latter days? Yes, he showed up in the flesh. He was preaching to him. All right, let's go back to Matthew's. And sisters and brothers, when y'all read this Matthew's 24, everything you reading, you can find in the book of Acts, you can find in the epistles that was written to Israel by all the apostles. You got to go do your due diligence. Well, we got false prophets here today. Yeah, we got false prophets today, but no, the book talking about in their days. Didn't all these apostles say, and many false prophets have arose? They was everywhere. They were claiming to be Messiah. They were claiming to be prophets. Because you know, sister and brother, when Israel get in trouble, that's when all the false prophets and false Christs arise. That's what John told you. There are many antichrists. You know what antichrist is? False Christ who deny Christ. So all of this stuff is in the writings of the Acts of the Apostles and all of their letters. Everything Jesus saying, they document for you in their letters, in their travels. So what we got to do is not be lazy, but get in the book and read it. Okay, let's go back. And we're going to start with Matthew 24 and verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, the destruction of Jerusalem and the temple? And what shall be the sign of thy coming? Because he got to come back and he got to fix what he done to the children, okay? And the end of the world, the end of the age, the end of the kingdom of Judah. Okay, verse 4. Now Jesus gonna tell them when all this stuff gonna happen. Everything they ask him, he gonna answer. Verse 4. And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. Those apostles, didn't they tell you there was many deceivers in the world? When you read the apostles, the Acts of the Apostles and they letters, didn't they tell you there was many deceivers in the world? All you got to do is go look it up, sisters and brothers. He ain't talking about in 2024, talking about in these apostles' days. When Jesus left, there was deceivers everywhere. I wish you'd have looked it up. No, you're going to look it up. You do your due diligence. You go study and look it up. That way no man can deceive you. Saying, I am Christ. And this is what they did. All over, sister and brother. Go read it. You had Philip preaching, and I think it was Acts chapter 8. And this sorcerer, he claimed to be a great one. What do you mean a great one? A Messiah, Christ. But he wasn't leading the people in righteousness. He was doing sorcery and all of that kind of stuff. But sisters and brothers, it's all over the book. You got to go read it. And shall deceive what? Many. Okay. Verse 6. And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. You're going to hear about all kind of rumors of wars between Rome, between Judah, and all of these other groups. It's all there, sisters and brothers. You got to go look it up. All of this stuff is recorded history. You can even go to the history books and look all this stuff up. Verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, pestilence, earthquakes in divers places. All of this stuff already happened, sisters and brothers, in their day. These are God's four-sword judgments. And people don't understand this. Yeah, Sister Chloe, that's true. But this right here is past that. This is during Rome's rule. We are in the final empire at this time. And like I said, sisters and brothers, some people, this is burned in their psyche. What is kingdom against kingdom? It's war, sisters and brothers. These are the four-sword judgments of God. Yeah, a lot of people tell you that Matthew 24 got something to do with the Maccabean War. That's not true. Rome is clearly ruling at this time. So don't listen to those other brothers. Rome is ruling at this time. And this is what you have, sister and brother. They'll say, see, nation gonna rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. Sister and brother, what does that mean? Nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. What does that mean? I get tired of people saying this like war is only in our day. You're welcome, sister. Thank you, Sister Shania. Please tell them, because they think war is just in our day. No, wars were going on back then, and wars were going on before them. And war gonna continue until Christ put a stop to it. Come on, sister and brother. War ain't just in our time. So when they say nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, Jesus just telling you there's going to be rumors of war everywhere. And then he say there are going to be famines, pestilence, earthquakes, and divers places. So you got these four things. What are they called in scripture? War, famine, pestilence, earthquakes, and divers places. What do these four things, what are they called in scripture, sister and brother? I know Sister Linda said it one time. What is these four things called in scripture, Sister Linda? Thank you, Sister Chloe. The four-sword judgments of God. Thank you. That's all it is, sisters and brothers. That's all it is. This is what's finna come on Judah. Even it's documented in history, sister and brother. All the chaos that happened during this time. This is why Moses say you're going to find yourself in tribulation. This is why Christ going to call it great tribulation. This is why Jeremiah called it Jacob's trouble. Because great destruction is coming, sisters and brothers. Now look what Christ tells these 4 Israelites. Verse 8, look what Christ tells these Israelites. All these, verse 8, all these are what? The beginning of sorrow. That's right, Sister Linda, the sword of judgment, yes. Now he done told them he gonna hit them with his 4 sword judgments. First of all, who's coming after Judah? Rome and all their allies. That's what Jesus is telling you. You're going to hear rumors. All the Romans are coming. The Romans are coming. You're going to hear rumors everywhere. And who are they coming to destroy? The kingdom of Judah, sisters and brothers. Verse 8. And all these things are the beginning of sorrows. All of this trouble you're going to find yourself in, Judah, Jesus say it's just the beginning. It ain't even started yet. I ain't pulled out the big hammers on y'all yet. And why is Judah telling these 4 disciples, aka apostles? Because they gonna teach the people, sister and brother, that when this time come to flee, get out of your country. That's why he's telling these 4 apostles, because they're gonna teach the people over the years. When y'all see these things happening, get out of Judea. Do everybody understand so far, or is everybody lost? That's right, Sister Judah. This is the beginning of the devastation for this nation. That's what he's saying. Everybody understand? All right. And like I said, if y'all gonna flee, y'all leave that. Y'all go ahead and take care of that business for me. Leave that merchandise for me. I'll put it to good use while y'all out there eating grapes in the wilderness. Okay. And sisters and brothers, we got to get it. Verse 9, let's continue. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted. Then they shall deliver you up to be afflicted. Who is he talking about, sisters and brothers? Who they going to deliver up to be afflicted? Is he talking to his 4 apostles? Yes or no? That's right. He talking to his apostles. He is not talking about your pastor in 2024 living in Flint, Michigan. No, sister and brother. It happened back then. He's telling his apostles, y'all got to preach. And at some point, they going to deliver y'all up to be afflicted. And many of y'all going to be killed. He's talking to his apostles, sisters and brothers. He's talking to his apostles. then shall they deliver you up. Not your pastor in 2024. The people that's going to invade Judea, the people who going to have a hatred for these apostles preaching Jesus, they going to deliver them up to be afflicted. Listen what else he tell these apostles. And shall kill you. Didn't Herod kill James? They gonna kill you. Why they gonna kill the apostles? For preaching Jesus. And you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Who is in all nations, sisters and brothers? Why are these apostles preaching in all nations? Who is in all nations? That's right. Thank you, Vanessa. Israel. So, sisters and brothers, this is an Israelite affair. This ain't talking about the Greeks. This ain't talking about the Romans. This ain't talking about the Babylonians. This is not talking about them of Cyprus, Egypt. They ain't got nothing to do with this. This is an Israelite thing. Jesus let them know, while you preaching to Israel all over the nations, these Jews are going to come and persecute you, afflict you, and kill you. And they going to hate you in all nations for preaching Jesus to the Israelites. He just told you they're going to hate you for my name's sake, because they preaching Jesus to the Israelites. Wherever they scatter that, sister and brother. And these hardened, evil, wicked Jews is trying to stamp them out. So Jesus letting them know, hey, these Jews going to come after you. Just like they finna crucify me, they going to come after y'all too. Oh, Brother Reggie, you done bust my bubble. I can see it now. It's talking about them and not us. That's right. It's talking about them. That's why Jesus going to tell them in Matthew 28, go ye into all the world and preach the gospel. Who they going to? Israel. Where they going to be persecuted at? Among the nation. Why they going to be persecuted? For preaching Jesus. And then the Romans going to get involved, and then they going to come back and destroy Judea. Why? To try to stop this movement, sisters and brothers. We see they preaching around the world, and they using Judea for a base, so these Romans going to destroy Judea. Because the Romans is working with the unbelieving Jews. Let's keep reading. Now let's look at what he tells these apostles. Verse 10. And then many shall be offended. When the persecution starts, sisters and brothers, many gonna turn back. He letting the apostles know, look, all the people y'all convert, many of them gonna turn back once the persecution starts. They gonna be offended, man. I can't be suffering like this. Why I'm suffering like this? If Jesus and the Father is almighty, why they letting us go through this? They gonna be offended and turn away from Christ, sister and brother. This is what the Bible called. Let's go read it. You got it, Sister Chloe. You know where I'm going already. But anyway, let's go read it for the sister and brother. Let's go to 2 Thessalonians 2. When they offended and they turn from Christ, let's see what they call. Let's go to 2 Thessalonians 2. Oh, man, I thought 2 Thessalonians 2 was about the Pope. Nope. Ain't got nothing to do with the Pope. I know that's what you've been taught. Let's see what the Bible called it when they turn away from Christ because of the persecution. Y'all sisters already got it. Y'all already know where I'm going. But I'm gonna read it anyway for the other sisters and brothers who don't know. 2 Thessalonians, once they start turning away from Christ because of the persecution, let's see what Paul called it. 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first. From what? From believing in Christ. Because of the persecution, sister and brother. And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Now, I'm going to get y'all on that because I know what y'all think. I'm going to get y'all on that. And that man of sin shall be revealed, the son of perdition. Sisters and brothers, who is the man of sin, the son of perdition, that Paul says coming once the great falling away take place? Who is the man of sin? Thank you, Sister Erica. Rome. He's talking about the Roman man, sister and brother. Sister Erica got it. Boy, she up on it, ain't her? Rufus got it. Bernadette, thank you. Yes, this Roman man, sister and brother. Ain't talking about no Pope of Rome. Stop it. No, it's these Romans that's going to destroy the temple. It's these Romans that's going to roll up in the temple. It's the Roman sisters and brothers that's going to go in the temple of God and claim that they God. How they going to claim that they God? Because they going to say, we defeated Judah. So if we defeated Judah, we defeated their God. Sisters and brothers, we going to have to understand this book. These Roman Europeans believe that they are God, sisters and brothers. They believed it in that day and they believe it in this day. All right, let's go back to Matthew 24. How the Pope gonna stand in the temple when the temple already tore down, sister and brother? So that lets you know 2 Thessalonians 2 already done happened. How the Pope gonna stand in the temple when the temple already been tore down in 70 AD, sister and brother? But I don't know. That's what my pastor told me. Yeah, okay. And we're gonna go slow with this. No, sister and brother, it's the Roman man that went in the temple of God. They didn't just tear it down, they went in the temple, they looked around, they sat in the temple, they drunk in the temple. And once they was done looking around, what did they do? They destroyed it. Brick by brick, just like Jesus said. Anyway, let's go back to Matthew 24 and verse 10. Let's read it again. And then shall many be offended. They're going to do what? They're going to stop believing in Jesus because of the persecution. They're going to fall away. They're going to become apostates. Okay, and shall betray one another. You see that? They once believed, but now they're betraying each other. and shall hate one another. So that lets you know this group here, they stopped believing and they joined the other side, sister and brother. Verse 11. Verse 11. Yes, they fear the Roman man, but the ones doing the persecution, Sister Judah, is the unbelieving Jews. Rome is just backing them. Rome is backing the unbelieving Jews. Okay, let's continue. Verse 11. And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. Why? Because they're trying to undo the work that the apostles did, sister and brother. They're trying to undo the work that the apostles did. All of this is in the Acts of the Apostles. All of this is in the letters of the apostles. Go and read it. You'll find all of this stuff. Let me see, can I look up one? Trying to find one for y'all. All right, let's go to 1 John 4 and 1. Let me see, can I find one? 1 John 4 and 1. Because Jesus said, and many false prophets shall rise and deceive many. Let's go to 1 John 4 and 1. First John 4 and 1. Let's see if John say the same thing that Jesus say. 1 John 4 and 1. Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of God, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. Y'all see that? That's in his day, sister and brother. Just like Jesus prophesied. And we're going to stop right there for today. I went over a little bit, but we're going to stop right there. Jesus said there was going to be false prophet, and John is telling you there's many false prophets in his day, sister and brother. Just like Jesus said. Anyway, I'm done for today, sisters and brothers. I hope y'all got some understanding. I thank you for your time. Peace, Israel.